Today we're going to talk about meditation. Specifically, we're going to call this the meditation process. There's many ways to meditate. One is to clear your mind. The other is to focus on an object. Or focus on your breath as you breathe in and breathe out. Or you may want to just even focus on the breath going in and out through the tip of your nose. Some people will use a mantra. But what can we do when we have an issue, we want an answer, and we can't shut off our mind? Well, the Pathwork teachings offer another form of meditation. This is called the meditation process. And for more information on it, you can go to www.pathwork.org, the Meditation Process Lecture 182. This is a three-way process, which is connecting with three aspects of ourselves. And it's helped many people to overcome confusion, obsessive thinking and worrying, or emotional reactions and anxiety. It also helps with personal or interpersonal conflicts. So first, you want to find a comfortable spot and set the time aside. It's best to have a journal or a paper to write on, as often we put things in writing and they seem to move and change and transform. From that original thought or the loopy thinking we can get caught in. Next, we're going to notice that the part of you that has actually decided to do this and even found this tool and to explore is what we call the healthy ego. It's the executor in you that makes decisions, sets the time aside, and follows through. It's the part of you that observes and it gets curious and it wants to know. Some people will say it's your prefrontal cortex. So you will take note that you're asking for help with this situation. The first thing is to define the situation. State specifically what you would like help with. Next, there's this realization that you're stuck with something, and you're stuck with it because there is an inner conflict going on. Often this inner conflict has two opposing forces. Part of you wants something and part wants something else, or thinks you're supposed to have something else. And often this part shows up as what we call the angry child, and it behaves and thinks much younger than your present age. It may want something from another person, something that's less authentic and honest or straightforward in this situation. That's the one part. The other part may want something different, or it's arguing with that part. Or it could be that it does not want to go and follow the rules and requirements, such as like getting out of bed and going to work. Or you feel scared or sad or angry or upset, or feels self-righteous and it feels like it's going to bully you. Or it thinks it knows better or best. I know what's best for you. And in a certain sense, it did. This was actually one time a very protective part of you. It may have been very useful at some point, but no longer is needed as often or in the same way. So you're going to take time and to hear, what is it? Observe this. Observe these feelings from this angry side of you. Ask it, what is it that you want? What is it that you need? Just keep looking in and observing. And this is your healthy ego doing this. And thank you for sharing the information. But the next step that's going to come about is that at a certain point, you are going to feel like, I don't know what to do with all of this. And that's when you're going to turn to this next part, this third part of you, called your higher power, your higher self. It's an inner knowing. And you're going to ask for help from this part. That's what the healthy ego is going to turn and ask for this help. And it's important to not go into this hard, painful and thoughts without some kind of support. So you really need this part of you. We all have a different way of calling this. It could be the higher self, the part that assists us. This can also be the present day strong adult self with that has a lot of compassion and understanding and wisdom. We all refer to it slightly differently. Sometimes you may want to turn to God and ask for help. But the key is that this part is different than the ego. And it has that wise, intuitive knowing. and it's going beyond logic, and it's looking to feel what is it that you really feel stuck with. So you're going to open up a conversation between the child part and the higher self part, or the wiser part. You're going to let that conversation go on for a while. It's not a fix-it kind of conversation. It's not going to be there, they are trying to make something better. But you're going to listen with a lot of love and compassion and hold some time for this and notice what happens. And let yourself feel the feelings that are really there in this child consciousness part. For example, if you have to decide about going on a family vacation, your family wants you to go and you don't want to go. So there's this conflict because you know that you should. Well, if there's a should there, that's the key word. A conflict is often heard when you hear a should've, could've, would've, supposed to, because there's a part that doesn't really want to, but you think you should. So you decide to take this upsetting decision into the meditation process. Like, I should go on this vacation, but I don't want to. So we've stated the issue. Next, you're going to listen to that part of you that is saying no. The part of you that is saying no may say something like, it's stupid. Why should we have to go? My mother always wanted us to get along and make things nicey-nicey. But they're not nicey-nicey, and I don't want to go. I don't like to go. She never listens to me. She always listens to everybody else. And let that voice continue for some time. You may want to write these things down so they can keep moving and flowing, or just speak them out loud. Or you may even want to sit in a pillow kind of to represent that space and that state of mind. But at a certain point, you may feel overwhelmed. And this is when that ego will turn to that wiser voice and invite that voice to come in and to help. And that voice says, I hear that you're stuck. I am here to help, says to the ego. And then it turns to the little child voice, the younger part, and says, what is it that's really going on? Often, the ego self has been so preoccupied in identifying and believing that child self, it thinks that it's all of it. So it doesn't know how to deal with this any different. And it's done the best it can. So the wiser voice that can go beyond the words and further into the feelings may say something like, so when your mother, to this child part, so it might even sit on another pillow and speak to this child part, says, well, when your mother says this, how does that make you feel? What happens next to you? And you pause and you wait and you listen. What do you want for this? But what is it that you need? Waiting and listening. And what is it that you really need? It's continuing to wait and listen. Because at some point, that child part calms down. And there often is a deep inner connection. We can't change others, but we can change the way we respond to a situation or our habitual perception of it. And we can now soothe that inner younger part that was really originally wounded in a very similar situation. We're older now, and we can be there for ourselves, where we were too young then and we didn't even exist. So we can say something like, I could not be there for myself then, because I was not even in existence. But I can be here for myself now. And there is a great, deep inner healing that can happen. So if you'd like to ask a question or want more information, go write me at cynthia@synthesis.com, or you can go to www.synthesis.com. Thank you.